Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here at the Bridgeport today. This is Steam Wagon Ho, Part 7. Alright, we got Nathan's shafts in here, and we're getting ready to mill a keyway in the two hub diameters here that drive the wheels. And then there's a washer type of thing here, and a cotter pin hole that goes through 90 degrees to those two keys, and we're going to be setting up in there. After that, we're going to get our head wrapped around how we're going to put the holes in around here. 12 holes get put around there, and of course there's no straight line past each of these diameters to get to that. How are we going to get those holes in there? Alright, we're thinking about it, but for right now, let's get turned around to the mill vise here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to clamp this in the vise and mill these two keyways in here in one setup. Alright, now I've got fans running in there. We're on a heat wave here, and we have some high humidity and temperatures in the upper 80s. The humidity is breaking a little bit, but we are still going to be running. So I got those two fans going. I'm going to be clicking on another fan in here, and so it's going to be in the background, and hopefully it's livable. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, we're going to open up the vise here, and of course we have all these odd diameters right here, so we can't, there's no place in here that we can stick it between the jaws or anything like that. There's not two equal diameters that we can grab a hold of. What we did is we brought in a few things that we have for spacers. We have some really nice 5/8 tool bits that we surface ground a long time ago, so we knew that they were a matching set. And we have 4 by 5/8. We have some tool blocks. Now this was a set of blocks that were all set up to dial in and gauge in two Bridgeport vices to be milled and machined to match set. And at North Star Propeller, when I was working there, I have the fourth one somewhere around the shop. I have actually put out a award or a reward for anybody that found it, and so far it hasn't been found by those who seek, and I just haven't cleaned that area of the shop yet, I guess. Alright, so anyway, I have 3 of these. Now what we're going to do is we need to hold this thing horizontal up here, and that's why these bits come into play here, because they fit in between those diameters. Alright, so I'm going to put 2 of those in there, and so we got the shaft to be able to sit up there. Now we need to hold it from this side and this side here, and that's where these 3 blocks come into play here. And we put 2 of these blocks to each other. They're about the same length as those 5/8 tool bits there, and we set that just like that. This single one does not set between the 2 flats on the vise there, so that's why we brought in this parallel here, just to lay on its edge, so then this block has something square to set on. And then we're just going to equal this cutting diameter here and this out from the edge of the vise about the same length. And we got 2 3/4 there, and 2 1/2 there. Move it about 1/8 of an inch that way there, and we're pretty equal. Alright, this is just a stop for our solid stop, our old one, and we're sharing this vise right now with an assistant after hours, kind of getting set up and familiar with the Bridgeport, and it's on his project, so I'm going to leave it there. Alright, now we need to set up center line of the shaft and verify that he has this mill vise in line. So we're going to take our edge finder, we're going to come over here, touch here, set 0, and then we're going to come on over here and we're going to touch this one here and verify if we're running close enough from this point to this point here to consider a square line with the shaft. Okay, we bring it in. As soon as it kicks to the side, boom. We set 0, we back out. We come right back in again, and we're watching We're going to tension up a little bit here. This mill has a little bit of play in it still. Okay, hasn't gone away, but we still got 0 right there. So we're going to consider that 0. Now we're going to come all the way over to the other side here. These two diameters are within 1/2 thousandth of each other. Alright, we come down about the same distance that we were, and we come and we just go till it kicks. And we're on 0. Alright. Okay, we're satisfied with our alignment of our part, and we can feel under here we have no movement up and down on our parallel, so we're going to be good there. I've tightened up the vise. I'm happy with where it's at, so we're going to be doing both of those keyways from this location. Alright, we got to come over half of our edge finder there, which is 1/4 inch. Alright, we set 0 there. Okay, from that 0, we're going to go ahead and come over half of our diameter. This was 0.984, so that's going to be 0.492. 0.492. Alright, and then we're going to reclaim that as 0 right there. Because this is going to be a 5mm keyway, which is about 197 thousandths wide, and we're coming in with a 3/16 end mill, so we'll be able to come down and then jog over 5 thousandths each side, and we'll be able to come right within the tolerances for that keyway. And it's just a little bit under 1 inch in length, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take our small sharpen here, and we're just going to coat up both of these diameters here. Boy, that large sharpen really works nice, huh? Saw the lights flicker a little bit there. Somebody might have turned on their air conditioning. Alright, we're going to let that dry. Okay, we're going to change out our edge finder here, and we'll put in our end mill. There we go. Okay, you can see the end of that center cutting end mill. Alright, put that in here. Make sure both ends are good. I just crammed one in there, so yeah, it's brand new on both ends, so nothing really fancy. This is a SGS tool. Came out of buddy Sean toolbox. When he died, I bought his toolbox from his sister, and we miss him a lot. Alright, I'm just going to bring this up a little bit because I'm going to eliminate a little bit of hangout on the spindle there. Alright, we'll bring you in close. We can show you how we set our 0 depth. Okay, we brought you over to this end of the shaft to go ahead and do the setup and everything, because the video quality is much better and the lighting's much better at this, and you can see past the shoulder. You can't see over the shoulder, and I'm not going to move the camera all around. So the sharpen is dry now, and we have a good coating on there. We're going to go ahead and create 2 scribe lines to where we're going to want to stop our end mill cut, start and stop our end mill cut. All right, now on this outside edge, I can use my low quality dial calipers to scribe the line. Now, of course, if you had a better pair of calipers, you get a better line, right? Okay, and I mean, I'm not scratching them. I'm just rubbing dike them off or sharp them off of there. All right, so we got that line established, and that's basically an eighth of an inch in from the edge. All right, now the other one, we have a slight radius there, so it's just a lot easier to hold an 1/8 inch parallel in here and go ahead and scribe a line just right even with our parallel face there, and we got the second one there. And then we can verify that we're basically 984 on the overall length here, and we're close enough. Alright, now we can bring down our end mill, bring it down close. I like to engage, I'm going to bring you out just a little bit here. Okay, on the front of my Bridgeport here, I have my travel dial indicator here, and I can set it at 0 whenever I want. And I like to go ahead and engage the auto feed. Of course, you always check and make sure your auto feed is not running. Alright, then you can engage it, and you can use it manually to control your up and down. And by watching the travel dial and controlling it by hand here, I'm able to dive down with a little finesse to the depth I need and then make the cut across. Alright, so I'll bring it back in close, but this is what I'm going to be doing. I'll be bringing it down. We're going to have a full circle. When I see a full circle, that's 0 on the depth, and then from there I'll go down to the 99 thousandths we need to go, and then we're going to go across in one cut. When we get to the other side there, then we got to sidestep it, come back, sidestep it, and come back, and bring our keyway out to the width. Alright, now I'm going to back it up to my line. I can see a little bit before my line here. Alright, and a little bit of tension on my spindle. Okay, and I got a full circle right there. So we'll set that at 0. Now I'm going to come over to my line here, and then I'm going to head on over to the other line because I want to visually see. There we go. Okay, now I can start at either end, and I'll move that rag so it doesn't get loaded up with chips there. Okay, let's come on down our 99 thousandths, and I'm going to get my air nozzle. So I'm going to be blowing chips free with the air. I'm not going to use any cutting fluid or oils or anything on this. Alright, here we go. Okay, there's our 99. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and feed this with my auto feed. And I'm just giving it a slight bit of air so that it blows the chips clear. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, now I said 5,000 stepping side to side. It's like 4 something. So I'm gonna shoot for 4,000s here, and let me bump it over to the side here. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. All right, now I'm just gonna hand crank this back to the other side. And that's just that's a precaution. We want to make sure that we're actually cutting the width of the cutter. We'll see what that is. Okay, we're at the end of our line here. Now I'll hand feed it over to the other side here. 2, 3, there's 4. Okay, now we'll go ahead and we'll lift her out of there. And let's measure our width here. We're looking at like 194. I'm going to grab my other pair of calipers just because I trust these a little bit more. And I can stick them in there in this direction here. I am getting 196, 197 if I rock it. Alright, we're within tolerance. I like that. Okay, we're going to knock out the other 4 keys. Full circle and 0 again. Looks good. Okay, we're going to crank her in. You know, you can set up a cool mister without the fluid and do the same type of thing and have it mounted on the machine, which I just don't happen to have right now. Everybody's got their own priorities of what they actually need for their machinery and what they do. Alright, now we can do our side step here. My left thumb is not as gentle as my right. It's better for tapping. Okay, I'll set it the other way. Good to go. Alright, let's do the other shaft. I brought my square over here because we're going to go ahead and we're going to set the axle in 90 degrees from where the keys are now, and there's no rough burrs, so I actually have a nice clean surface right here. So I'm going to loosen the shaft and I'm going to rotate it, and I'm actually going to use my square against these two edges of the keyway to go ahead and bring that 90 degrees. Alright, so first off, I don't need to back it off that far. Alright, I'm going to roll it. First off, I got some chips in here. I want to go ahead. I'm going to pull this out of here. Any question, always break down your setup. Clean it, check it. Alright. I just saw two chips there and I didn't want a chip to be squished in between here. Okay. Now I can rotate this freely. I bring the square up to the edge here. And you can actually feel it click on each side of that, and you physically can look at the light shining in from this side to see that it is 90 degrees. And of course, all we're putting in is a cotter pin hole, so we're going to consider that close enough. The drawing shows them at 90 degrees. It doesn't reference them 90 degrees, so this is just something that I picked up in the visual. Alright, we'll come over here to the edge. We're still center of the part, and we'll go ahead and come in and touch that edge. Alright, it kicked. We like that, and we'll set that at 0. Go half of our distance there, because we're not going to second guess this. This is a cotter pin hole, so for within a thousandth we're going to be good. Alright. There we go. Alright, it calls for that to be 0.177 in. And this is our drill. It calls for 118 on the hole size, and we don't have a 118. We have a 120, or we have a little bit smaller. And I don't think 2000 is going to hurt the cotter pin. And the drill's going nice and true. We are on center, so we should have no problem on getting this drill bit to start true. I like that. Just went through the center drill hole. A little air wouldn't hurt the clearing. See, that blows them right out of the center hole. Alright, and we're through. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll go to the other side and we'll do it, and then we'll set the other shaft in the same way. Okay, now I just want to break those holes so that they're not real sharp, and I just loosen this up in the vise. Now I'm just going to rest my hand on the top of here firmly, and just a light little pressure, and I'm going to break those. Nice. Okay, the only thing left is 12 holes to be drilled into the shafts. and it's to bolt on this sprocket. And this inner hole pattern right here is got to be put in around here. Now the center of those holes are not in a fashion to where I can get by anything here to drill this. Alright, so we're starting to plan and get set up for jigging to do those holes in that shaft. Okay, now you're not I can't wait for the next video but you're gonna have to wait, and if you're not subscribed, you're gonna want to subscribe, because as soon as this video comes out, you're gonna want to know how I put those holes in that flange. Alright, until next time, get her done.